Example problem 4, using formulas to find terms of a sequence. This is a finance problem. Pierre began the year with an unpaid balance of $300 on his credit card. Because he had not read the credit card agreement, he did not realize that the company charges 1.8% interest each month on his unpaid balance, in addition to a $29 penalty in any month he fails to make a minimum payment. Pierre ignored his credit card bill for 4 consecutive months before finally paying off the balance. What did he owe after 4 months of non-payment? And we will be using your graphing calculator to solve this problem, but before we can use the calculator, we need to have a recursive definition of this problem. We will input that then into the calculator and allow the calculator to do some of the computations necessary to make the work a lot easier for us. But first, let's check out step 1. Write a recursive definition. Recall we need 2 things for a recursive definition. The first of those being the initial condition. We'll often call that the initial value of our sequence. So the initial condition, we'll call that A sub naught, A sub 0, equals 300. That was his credit card debt to begin the year. We use A naught so that A sub 1 represents the balance after 1 month. Our recursive formula can then be written as A sub n, where n will be any number of months past the start of the year, equals 1.018. And note that 1.018 represents a 1.8% interest in addition to 100% of the balance. So that would represent 1 plus 0.018. And this is being multiplied by A sub n minus 1. That would be the balance, the credit card balance, in the previous month, plus a constant of 29. And 29, of course, represents the flat fee for any month that a minimum payment is not made. And of course, this all only works if n is greater than 1, because we're not talking about using this formula for the months before the start of the year. Step 2 is actually largely unnecessary. It's a neat feature of your calculator that you can change the digit display from float, its default setting, to 2. What that does is it just changes the degree of accuracy or the number of decimal points displayed on your screen. So that could be quite useful in some situations, such as this, where we only are interested in dollars and cents, not fractions of cents. But it's okay not to reset your calculator's digit display from float to 2. You'll still be able to solve this problem. Step 3. On your calculator's main screen, so the blank screen you typically begin typing in calculations, enter 300. Of course, we know what 300 represents. And enter the recursive formula. So 300, enter. Then enter the recursive formula, that expression, 1.018. Now enter answer. So on your graphing calculator, that will be second and the negative sign. That will automatically input the answer from the previous set of operations on the calculator. So the value that's pushed all the way over to the right-hand side of the screen, in this case 300, after multiplying, then it will add 29. So we need to enter the plus 29. When you hit enter, you'll find 334.40. If you did not switch your calculator settings, you may see more decimal place values than that. Hitting enter 3 more times continues reapplying the expression to the new answers, those new values at the far right. It's a really powerful feature of your calculator that can be useful in many situations. But the balance after 4 months, shown on our screen now, is $441.36. I'd encourage you to pay very careful attention to this problem. It helps you get the most out of this really powerful resource, your graphing calculator. Perhaps rewind and actually work through this problem on your own. And that is particularly true if you struggle with the got it question that is coming up. And here is your chance to show that you have got it. If the credit card company were to allow Pierre to continue making no payments. After how many months would his balance exceed $1,000? And work carefully to solve this problem. And your first two lesson check problems from this section, from the Do You Know How section. Your next two Do You Know How questions. And finally, questions 5 and 6 from the Do You Understand section.